Hi everybody, I'm Cara, aka Innocent Charmer, and this is my crazy idea about a pregnancy diary. Um, I am today 18 weeks pregnant with baby number 3, or baby 4, depending whether you count the miscarriage in the middle. Basically, I have been blogging now for 6 years, and over that 6 years, I didn't have children, all of them, obviously. And when I had Grayson, I didn't really know about parent blogging, etc., or blogging as a parent, maybe is a better way of putting it. And the same when I had Addie. I wasn't really reading a lot of blogs that consisted of pregnancy diaries, etc. When we decided to have baby number 3, I also became a blogger on the Emma's Diary blog, which I love doing. To talk about trying to conceive and how trying to conceive is different when you have a child that has a rare genetic condition, and how that can affect you, and the pregnancy is how it's different. So when I found out I was pregnant with this baby, I decided I really did want to do a pregnancy diary like a lot of my friends do, mummy, daddy, and me makes 3, dear beautiful boy, etc., etc. But I knew that the way they had all done their pregnancy diaries wouldn't work for me. The reason being, I was a size 22, 24 when I got pregnant. So thus, even now at 18 weeks pregnant, even though I know I'm showing, a lot of people don't realise, which can be quite upsetting. And so I knew the stereotypical pregnancy diary of a side shot of my belly and talking about the baby just wouldn't work for me, because I would feel very self-conscious that I looked 40 weeks pregnant at 15. So I thought I need to do something different. And I don't know why. I crazily thought a video, which is hilarious because I hate my voice on videos. I think I sound like a 2-year-old. And I hate the way I look most of the time. So this is probably a crazy reason, but yeah, I'm here. So I'm not here as early as I'd like to have been. Obviously, being 18 weeks pregnant, I really wanted to start when I was about 12, because there's been a lot of emotions with this pregnancy after the miscarriage, and after some news we got about Grayson's condition, the early stages of my pregnancy. But I have been really unwell, not only due to the pregnancy, but with 2 infections. So I didn't get a chance to, because even though I do hope I'll be able to talk to you during times of when I looked like utter crap with no makeup, etc., I wasn't brave enough then. So, where to start? I'm 18 weeks pregnant with baby 3, as I said. The baby currently is supposedly the size of a sweet potato, which is quite concerning if you see the size of my stomach. It's not been a good pregnancy up to now. I've been really poorly, which isn't really rare for me, as I had really bad pregnancies with both the other 2. Grace and I had 3 near miscarriages, and Addie had 1 near miscarriage, with severe amounts of bleeding, and HG with Addie as well. This time I've been quite sick. I'm still sick every day, but I'm getting used to it. But I'm not used to how tired I am this time. I'm sure that's partly because of being unwell, partly because I work a full-time week still and have to deal with 2 other children. One, of course, who is special needs and is harder work than most. So I want my pregnancy diary to hopefully be me on my camera at random points during each week, maybe every 2 weeks, depending on how time goes, of how I'm feeling at certain times about the pregnancy, how pregnancy is for me, how it is affected by having a child like Grayson's condition, because I've already had 1 extra scan, and I actually have in excess of 4 or 5 extra scans, I think, booked between now and 40 weeks. Not only for all of you to understand, but actually for me to look back on, because I have problems with my memory, and I already now have forgotten how it felt when Grayson was born, how it felt to deal with Grayson's problems and condition, how those first feelings were. The only things I do have is the very few blog posts I made when Grayson was first unwell and diagnosed with brain damage and then diagnosed with genetic conditions. And I think it's really interesting to look back, because I was so positive at those times about Grace and his condition, which I do struggle sometimes with now. And reading those posts makes me remember how good things really are. So I would like to do that with this pregnancy, because both my other pregnancies were full of fraught and issues, as this one has been. But I would like also baby 3, as he or she grows up, to remember how I felt. And also I think it's really interesting because me and my mother never talked about her pregnancies, and she probably doesn't remember, to be honest. So it's interesting for my children, hopefully when they have children, to feel that's how mum went through it, and that's okay. We are calling this baby Sweet Pea at the moment. On the 8th of February I have my scan, and I hopefully will find out whether it's a boy or girl. Honestly, if I'm truthful, I would really like it to be a boy. I love Addie very much, but I find girls really hard work, unless it's just her. And I love Grayson more than anything I can describe, but for us to have a little boy, who, I hate this word, but is normal, would be really interesting and different for us. It would be a whole first time parent experience again. Ashley, I think, would like a little girl. I think he would feel he's replacing Grayson if he had a boy, which is not the case, obviously, at all. But honestly, all we really want is for a child that's healthy. We don't want another child to suffer like Grayson has. So hopefully that will be the case. Unfortunately, until that baby is a couple months old, we won't know if there's any problems with the child. Grayson's diagnosis is still unclear, other than being genetic and brain damage. So they cannot actually test our child for anything up until it's born and hopefully shows signs of development, which Grayson obviously didn't. The first things, simple things like being able to drink milk, being able to hold his head or her head, etc. So, yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is I really need to enjoy the minutes after the baby's born. I don't discuss it much, but with my other two, I didn't really have that. With Grayson, I'd been through a 4-day intense labour of contractions, etc. And when he was born, I literally fell asleep through exhaustion. And within the 3 minutes of waking up, Grayson was no longer in the room, as he had stopped breathing. Then I was really nervous about the fact that Grayson didn't want to drink milk, etc. So Grayson slept and slept and slept for the first 12 hours of his life. And then after 12 hours, when he finally did wake, he unfortunately started having epileptic seizures and was rushed to special care, where he spent the next 7 days and continued to not actually get very well, much to everyone's not knowledge. They didn't realise at that time that there were so many other problems. So Grayson's first week was very little hands-on for me. I got to feed him and some cuddles, but apart from that there wasn't much else, and anxiety and adrenaline kicked in. So then when Addie was due to be born, I had convinced myself Addie was going to be disabled. There was no reason to. Her scans were perfect. I have fetal movements with Addie, which I didn't with Grayson. But I think I was so sure that we couldn't have a normal baby that when Addie was born and she was perfect, I didn't really know how to relate to Addie. She was born unwell, unfortunately. Excuse my phone. She swallowed her poo as she came out and caught an infection. So ended up spending 2 days in hospital with Addie as well. She also has severe colic, CMPA, cow's milk protein allergy, amongst a ton of other things. So again, it wasn't really a normal sort of she was delivered normally, but the effects afterwards weren't so normal. And I think I got myself in such a state emotionally beforehand that I didn't really know how to cope with her being there, and subsequently suffered extremely awful postnatal depression for the first sort of 4 or 5 months after Addie was born, which I have never discussed, strangely enough, on my blog. I don't know why. I think I was just in a really bad place and I felt quite ashamed by that. It's something actually since being pregnant this time I'm very concerned about, because I know the chances of postnatal depression coming back again are I'm at a greater risk due to having postnatal depression with Addie. So I'm in a place at the moment where I feel I need to discuss the postnatal depression. Unfortunately, I don't really have anyone to discuss it with, so I'm sure it's something that will be discussed on the blog, because it's my place to vent. Not even Ashley really knew the full extent of my postnatal depression, but thankfully my husband is excellent and he gave up work and I went back to work full time and he cared for both our children full time, which, although it was something we had discussed him doing once before, it was not something either of us actually really wanted, and I still feel and harbour a lot of guilt over that, so that's something I need to come to terms with. So I'm hoping that people will enjoy seeing me on video discussing my pregnancy and how it's going. I actually got the idea from a show called Tia and Tamara, which is, if you don't know who they are, the girls that used to see Being Sister Sister. I'll put a link below. Tamara actually did a pregnancy diary for herself through video for her and her little baby to watch afterwards, and I thought it was really nice because it's a touching way. I send Addie emails sort of weekly to tell her about her life and how I'm feeling and share videos, etc., because I want her to remember her childhood better than I remember mine, and I feel this is just a step like that for baby Sweet Pea. So hopefully what I plan on doing is, obviously I carry my iPhone at all times, I have my laptop, I have my iPad, way too many devices. I'm hoping to video all different points, even if I'm sort of just got to work and realise actually there's something I really want to discuss about how things are going with the baby. I'm going to quickly grab my camera out and just talk to the camera. And hopefully you won't all be bored terribly about my pregnancy by then. We'll see if it continues. I may give this up by week 20. I've already spoken to our sonographers and I'm hoping that they will let me bring the camera in, so actually I'm going to video my scan, or bits of it, and hopefully when we find out the sex, which is really exciting because I want to go shopping, which I already have a massive shopping to-do list, which is crazy with baby number 3, but hey ho. So I will leave it there, and this is the beginning of my pregnancy diary, week 18. I hope that some of you come and watch.